Have you ever had one of those doctor's appointments where you walk out thinking, I have no idea what just happened? Yeah, well, me too. I'd sit across from my neurologist, nodding politely like a bobblehead, trying to look like I understood every word. Inside, I was thinking, dopamine pathway, what now? I'd get into the car, and then someone would say, so what did the doctor have to say? And I'd go, good question. Well, that was my routine for years until one day I finally realized that it wasn't that I didn't understand Parkinson's. It was that I wasn't asking the right questions. And I want to share with you today those questions because they changed everything for me. Not just how I talk to my doctor, but now how I live. And stick with me till the very end because I'm going to share something from Carmen's Care Partner Corner that'll hit home for both care partners and for those of us living with Parkinson's. And trust me, you do not want to miss it.
Welcome to Living with Parkinson's. The good, the bad, and the reality. Real talk, real life, real community with Bryce Perry. Let's begin.
Hey everyone, I'm Bryce, and welcome back to Living with Parkinson's, the good, the bad, and the reality. And if you're new here, this channel is all about the real talk, the stuff that nobody tells you about Parkinson's, mixed with humor, stories, and hope. And to my loyal viewers and listeners, thank you so much. You're the reason why this community is growing into something that is way bigger than me. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. Because together, we're not just talking about Parkinson's, we're changing how the world sees it. Okay, let's dive into these three questions that nobody likes to ask or nobody is asking their doctor. And the first one is this. When you're at your doctor's office, you say, what does this mean to me specifically? Now, this is the question that flipped my appointments upside down in a good way. You see, doctors talk in averages. They talk about most people. They talk about typical symptoms and common progression. Have you heard that before? Put that typical symptoms, common progression, or most people in the comments right now. Let's see that you're not alone in that. But here's the truth. Parkinson's doesn't do typical. I remember sitting in an appointment early on, and the doctor was explaining something about motor fluctuations. I nodded the whole time. I smiled like I understood. And then I went home and I Googled it. And I thought, I don't even think I'm fluctuating. I'm just flatlining. The next visit, I tried something different. When he finished this long explanation, I said, okay, but what does that mean for me specifically? Everything changed. He stopped typing, he turned toward me, and for the first time, he explained things in a way that made sense for me and my body, me and my schedule, me and my day to day life. And it wasn't about averages anymore, it was about me. And I realized that question doesn't just belong in the doctor's office, it belongs everywhere. When I read new Parkinson's research now, I always ask this: what does this mean for me? When someone online says they're trying a new supplement or therapy, I ask, what does that mean for me? Because no two of us are the same. We're all snowflakes. We're beautiful, unique, and sometimes falling apart at the seams. Well, the moment you stop comparing your journey to someone else's journey and start asking, what does this mean for me? That's when you start owning your story instead of letting Parkinson's write it for you. If you ever walked out of an appointment more confused than when you went in, drop a comment that says hashtag for me, because I want to know how many of us have been there. And trust me, you're not alone. You watch the hashtag for me's that hit this page. Okay, question number 2. Here we go. How will I know when it's time to adjust my medication? Now, this one is huge. And it's one that most of us don't think to ask until we're already struggling, until we're already thinking about, I wonder if, or you start Googling or watching podcasts, trying to figure out if it's your turn, if you should change your meds. See, there's an invisible line between I'm doing fine and something's not right. And most of us cross it without realizing it. For me, it wasn't a tremor that gave it away. It was somebody saying, you're moving slower than usual today. And I'd always say, of course, no, 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 I'm fine. They'd say, Bryce, you're cutting your toast slower than grandma. And that's when I realized that my timing had started to slip. My meds were wearing off sooner, but because it happened gradually, I didn't notice it right at first. And when I finally brought it up to my neurologist, I asked, how will I know when it's time to adjust? He told me the signs. Well, Bryce, increased stiffness, shorter on times, changes in speech, changes in energy. Huh. Well, I wish I would have asked that in the very beginning so that when I started noticing these signs, I would have noticed the signs, not when it was already happening. So that's why I say it's so important that you have to have these questions in your back pocket right at the very beginning. When will I know it's time to change my meds? And do I leave that on the very first visit? Is that like he tells me that and I wait for it? No. Every time I go in, I say, here's where I'm at today. This is what I'm going through today. When will I know? When will I know? Because I want to be ahead of the game, not behind it. Now, if that's you want to be ahead of the game, just put ahead in the comments because I want to be ahead. And that's when I started tracking everything. I track it and I track it every time. And you know what? I have a big surprise coming. And I'm building a Track My Meds #challenge because it's not just about taking pills. It's about noticing patterns, knowing when your body's whispering that something's changing before it starts shouting. And here's the thing, that idea goes beyond medication. In life, we all need to know when it's time to adjust, when it's time to slow down, when it's time to push forward, when it's time to change something that's not working anymore. And that's not a weakness, it's awareness. So if you're part of our #TrackMyMeds crew, type that hashtag in the comments right now. And if you haven't started yet, now's the time because tracking your meds is really about tracking yourself. It really is. And again, I'll have some more information coming up about that right away. I hope to be launching this challenge and maybe, just maybe, I have a tracker for you to start using. And I'm talking like maybe next episode. Just hang in there. Stay tuned. It's coming. It's coming. All right, let's move on to question number 3. And here it is. This is the question that none of us like to ask or don't ask. What can I be doing between appointments to slow my progression? Now, this is the one that changes your mindset. For years, I thought my doctor's appointments were like a reset button. I'd go in, I'd report what was happening, I'd get a new prescription or a tweak, and I'd wait for the next visit. But between appointments, I was just surviving until one day I finally asked that right question. What can I do between appointments? And my doctor said, a lot. He talked about exercise. He talked about sleep. He talked about stress, connections, and learning. All the things that help slow progression. And that's when it clicked. My real work happens between appointments, not at the appointments. So now I move every day, even when I don't want to. And no, I don't, I'm not out running marathons. Some days my big workout is just making it up the stairs without swearing. And when he says exercise, I said, define exercise. Well, apparently salsa dancing doesn't count unless you actually move your feet. Who knew that? But here's the truth. Asking this question puts the power back in your hands because it shifts from reactive to proactive. And it's not just about what you can do, it's about what you choose to do. And that's a different kind of power. And that's where I want to share something from Carmen's Care Partner Corner, as she wanted me to read this to you. Ready? Hi, everyone. It's Carmen. For the care partners, our version of that question might be this. What can I do to help without burning out? Because you can't pour from an empty cup. For a long time, I thought being strong meant saying I'm fine. And when I wasn't, even when I wasn't. But that's not strength, that's survival, and it doesn't help anyone. I've learned that taking care of myself is part of taking care of Bryce, and it means resting when I need to, reaching out for support, and being honest when I'm overwhelmed. So if you're a care partner watching this, remember, you matter in this equation as well. And you don't have to have all the answers. You have to keep showing up. And you can go to the doctor as well. And when Bryce is asking, when Bryce asks those questions, what can I do in between appointments? I ask the same things. What can I do in between appointments to better support him and support myself better. That's interesting. That's really good. So there you go. See, this is not a narcissistic disease. It's not just about us, right? It's about our partners and our people that are caring for us as well. And they need that same question. What can they do in between appointments that are going to help them, right? Help them make it through to the next appointment. It's almost making it from appointment to appointment. So you see, that's why I keep her around, right? She's the wise one. But here's the bottom line. These questions, they're not just for your doctor, they're for your life. Now, what do I mean by that? What, like, specifically, what do I mean? You know, well, I mean this. What does it mean for me specifically? Right? These three questions. How will I know when it's time to adjust? And what can I be doing between appointments? Write them down, take them with you, and don't just ask them once. Ask them again and again and again and again as things change. Because the person who gets good at asking questions gets good answers. And the person who stays silent gets what's ever left. And if you're ready to take control of your next appointment, type "I'm asking the questions" in the comments right now. Let's flood the comments with that phrase. A movement of people who are done being passive and ready to participate in their care. And if you want to keep learning how to do that, join us in the inner circle. That's where we dive deeper, share wins and wobbles, and talk about what really works. The link's below in the description. And hey, if you're newly diagnosed or you're ready now to take another step, a deeper step in your walk in this new life of yours of Parkinson's, start with the boot camp. It's where you'll learn the basics, understanding your meds, and build your foundation for what's coming next. The links are in the description below, and I think there is only 9 spaces left, only 9 seats left. So get them before they get out. And with that, you've made it. Here it is. You've unlocked today's Bryce-ism. With Parkinson's, silence changes nothing. The right questions can change everything. Well, there you go. Make sure you're asking the right questions, and you keep doing that. And you know what? You keep showing up, keep speaking out, keep asking questions, and you keep doing life today.